guys enjoying the holiday weekend? Today I want to do a quick overview of the Nike Vomero 17, which I just picked up as my new high mileage daily trainer. I'm in a big period of aerobic base building right now. I built back up to 100 miles per week. And I was looking for something that I could slip on for most of those runs to chew up through a ton of the miles, and I landed on the Nike Vomero 17. So in this video, I'm gonna do an overview of the shoe, break down some of the specs and features, and let you know how I plan to use it. Alright guys, before we get into it today, if you haven't checked out the running shoe matcher tool yet, go to runningshoematcher.com. This is a really cool tool I built that matches you with the best shoe for you based on your goals and preferences. So you can go in there, answer 5 questions about what type of shoe you're looking for, whether you want a daily trainer, a race day shoe, or a tempo shoe, whether you like your shoe soft or firm. We'll match you with the best shoe for you. Could be the Vomero 17. It's live right now and it's free. You can check it out at runningshoematcher.com, and I'll put a link in the description below. Alright, let's get into it. So the Nike Vomero 17 is Nike's premium daily trainer. It's the top of the end training shoe meant for everyday miles that sits one step above the Nike Pegasus. So whereas the current generation Nike Pegasus, the 40, uses Nike's React foam with some Zoom Air units, the revised Vomero 17 uses Cushlon foam with a top layer of ZoomX. Overall, this is a shoe with a higher build quality, a more robust construction, and it's meant to be a comfort and reliability oriented shoe that you can put on every day, feel pretty good, that you can beat the heck out of for a year or two without it breaking down. Now, because its brief is reliability as well as comfort, it does come in on the heavier side. It's about 10.5 ounces for that US men's size 9. For comparison, a shoe like the Saucony Triumph is 9.8 ounces, so this is going to be half an ounce to an ounce heavier than most competitor daily trainers. Okay, so diving into the midsole of the Vomero 17, you can see up here there is this top layer of ZoomX foam, which is Nike's premium racing foam, and this bottom layer of Cushlon. So the Cushlon foam is going to provide a more stable, structured feel, while that ZoomX on top provides that soft, pop, bouncy feel. I haven't gotten a ton of miles in these yet, so I'm gonna save my full thoughts on the ride until I have 50 or more miles. But so far, the way this tech seems to work is to provide a nice plush landing with the ZoomX without it becoming too soft and squirrely. So this is more of a daily trainer. Though the specs are 39 in the heel and 30 in the forefoot, it rides like a daily trainer. It feels like a daily trainer on foot, not like a max cushion shoe. And that is going to be the key here. This is really an everyday running shoe. It's not going to be one of those plodding, super tall, marshmallowy shoes. And that's due to the Cushlon foam being below. It doesn't have that overly soft feeling like you might get from a gel Nimbus. I really like what they did to this midsole. The step-in feel is super comfortable, and it also feels like a regular sneaker when you put it on. It doesn't feel like one of those max cushion shoes, which I really like. And if we look at the back here, they did do the raised sidewall, which again will provide some more stability back here. So while this is going to be a neutral running shoe, they've added some minor elements of inherent stability so that this is a friendlier shoe for all types of foot strikes and pronation needs. Now the upper on this is extremely sturdy and well built. With its brief being reliability, they put a lot of focus on making sure that this thing is bulletproof essentially. You can feel it as soon as you put it on. It feels really secure. It feels like you could rub it up against some rocks and it wouldn't break through. And it's this nice heavy duty, almost canvas material. Now I think that is where some of the weight is going to come in on this shoe. This upper does feel kind of weighty, as well as the outsole, which we'll get into in a second, but it's not going to be a lightweight feeling upper. Same thing with the tongue. The tongue isn't super padded, but it is very structured and thick. It's not one of those pillowy tongues, but if you take a look here, you can see that it is really quality and a nice thick layer of this polyester synthetic type material. Similar to the back here, again, not super padded, but very well made, very thick and durable. It's almost like a basketball shoe kind of upper. If I compare it to something like my Paul George, you know what, I'm gonna go get my Paul George basketball shoes. All right, now I haven't been playing a lot of basketball lately, but these are my Paul George basketball shoes. And if you compare the uppers here, there's a lot of similarities to these basketball shoes versus a more traditional running shoe. Like if, for example, look at this tongue here. It's very thick and it's not super soft and padded like we'd see in the 1080 V13, but it is really well made to withstand a lot of those lateral forces. And that's gonna be the same thing we're getting here in this Nike Vomero 17. You can see how the tongue looks pretty similar. And in the back here, that padding around the heel collar looks very similar to what we get in this Paul George Nike basketball shoe. Heading around to the back of the upper, you can see there is a structured piece to hold the heel in place. Nice plastic heel counter, and it goes all the way up through this flared elf heel in the back. So again, this is a shoe that's going to feel very secure on foot, that locks the foot in place. You're not going to get any wiggling around, and I did feel that there was a solid lockdown with this upper out there on the run. They didn't do anything weird with the lacing system, which is nice. Laces are these flat, slightly soft, slightly stretchy laces. I did get a little bit of lace bite when I cinched it down on the left shoe here, but I think I tied it a little bit too tight. This is a shoe you don't need to crank it down to get a good lockdown, so that shouldn't be an issue for most runners out there. All right guys, heading down to the outsole of the Nike Vomero. Now this is the main star of the show. Look at this bad boy. It is extremely robust. We got a nice thick covering of this Nike rubber, and it's almost like a trail outsole with how these nubs are in the forefoot of the shoe. So if you look at the amount of coverage of rubber here, it is one of the most comprehensive outsoles that I've ever seen. The only exposed area is right here in the back here. So this is a shoe where you should be able to get 400, 500 miles. So my target for this shoe is going to be to take it to 400 miles. I don't have any shoes in the 400 mile club over the past few years. The highest mileage that I've ever taken a shoe is the Ultra Boost, one of the original Ultra Boosts. I took that to 700 miles. Right now I have the Saucony Triumph 20 at 350 miles. So my goal with this is going to be to take it to 400 miles, and you look at how robust this outsole is, that should be no issues. On my first run in this was out there in the wet, and I wasn't slipping around too much, but it also wasn't as sticky as something like the Continental rubber, so this should be able to handle most things, but it's not going to be the best of the best. I'd put it in that 6 or 7 out of 10 category so far, but again, wait for the full review for my full thoughts on this outsole rubber. Now, I got this shoe to replace the Saucony Triumph in my lineup as that high mileage daily training shoe that can go out there no matter what the weather is, no matter if it's gonna be slick or muddy. And that's really what this shoe is designed to do. It's to crush through miles no matter what the terrain is, no matter what the weather is. And so far with the first few runs, this has been really good at that. I'll wait for the full review to give you my thoughts, but compared to something like the 1080 V13, this does feel a little bit more reliable, a little bit more robust, and I'm not too scared to get it dirty and muddy versus a soft padded shoe with a nice clean upper. Now that's also why I went with the dark color on this, because I want to beat the heck out of it and see how it stands up to some tough winter miles. All right guys, so that is my overview of the Nike Vomero 17. I'm really excited to get some more miles in this, and once I get it past that 50 mile mark, I'll hit you with the full review, and I'll also have some comparisons of this versus the Triumph, 1080, Pegasus, and whatever else you guys want to see. All right guys, thanks for watching. I'll be back tomorrow with another video.